A mini driver making maximum impact on your golf game next. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here in this McGolf fitting room where we talk about golf club repairs, reviews, and fittings. Also, your scores can go low. If you would, like, subscribe, hit that stuff across the bottom. That way this information gets out to the YouTube universe. Again, if you would, we have a live stream on Mondays at 5:30 Eastern Time or 17:30 for you guys across the pond. And it is called What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. It's about what's in my drawers over there in my shop. And we talk about the same exact stuff with people from around the world. Join us. I am sure that you will enjoy it. Okay. Callaway has produced a mini driver. The Elite Mini is what they're calling it. The mini driver scene has exploded, okay? It has exploded but why? Why has it exploded? All right, here's Jim's thoughts on the reason why mini drivers are really, really good right now. Number one is it's close to the perfect length. All right, I have done hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of driver fittings. And I can tell you that in the minority is the standard length, right? Between 44 and a half, 44 and 3/4 tends to be the biggest part under the bell curve. However, there are some for shorter lengths, and yes, there are some for longer. But let's just face it, the drivers nowadays are just a little bit longer. And I know all you swing guys out there crying right now about, oh, you just got to learn to hit it better. No, you don't. How many of us have the ability to go out there and practice hours upon hours each day? We need something that fits our body shape, our arm's length, our stance, our height, the way that we swing the club, everything that determines the length of a golf club. All right, the length of the golf club is directly equal to the consistency that you give it, which is one of the absolute marketing positives that this driver has and performs with. All right, the second one is most people don't have enough loft. That has been out for years and years and years. Yes, I know we can hit it 300 yards after we've hit it on a road and it rolls downhill. However, if you watch most of the conceptual designs that are out there now, is they remove weight from the top, they put weight in the bottom. Also, it can get underneath the equator of the ball so that you can get higher launch characteristics, okay? Now, when you do that, and if you're very successful at it, you can actually lower launch or lower loft levels and get a more penetrating ball flight with lower spin. However, again, you have to be able to be consistent off the tee, i.e. back to the length. Now, that said, 10.5 degrees, if you look, everybody picks 10.5 degrees. Well, why? Because it's a standard almost, right? It can fit, you can, with the golfer's memory while golfing, if you hit 2 or 3 drives, that's the drives that you talk about. You don't talk about the ones that you topped or the ones you threw into the trees or that kind of stuff. You talk about the good ones. That's actually a pretty good thing. However, if you're only doing it for a good couple shots per round, you probably want to look into a driver fitting. Okay, look into the driver fitting and get those specs. I would bet real money that somewhere along the line, somebody's going to tell you, well, if we increase the loft just a tad, that you're probably going to get that launch characteristic that we're wanting without sacrificing the spin. Alrighty, so those are the two biggest things, right? So what's the mini driver? What does this one come out with? All right, Callaway's come out with 2 mini drivers. One is 11, the other one I believe is 13.5. All right, 13.5 strong 3-wood. It's really kind of a neat, fat 3-wood you can hit off the deck, where the 11 is mostly played for, guys maybe struggling with the driver, like me. Okay, and guys on the last video showed you I was having problems with my back, and the last club to come back to me has been the driver. It's just been, I don't know, some karma in my head thing, and so I ordered one of these. And I'm here to tell you, it is a lifesaver off of the tee. Now, let's talk a little bit about the mini driver. It's very similar to the driver in its construction. It has the carbon forged or carbon formed, thermo carbon formed top. And much like everything else, they'll say that this carbon is very lightweight. allowing more weight to go into the back, okay? It also has the ability to be adjusted to help your direction. If you're hooking it a little bit much, you can go here. If you're fading it a little bit much, it can go here. If you're doing okay, it can stay right there. And I'd love to tell you what the weight is, but it doesn't have a number on the outside. Also, it has the traditional OptiFit, right? The OptiFit hosel, which allows you to set it into a +2 to a -1 category. So you go -1 standard, +1, +2. And there is a draw setting on it, so it means the face is going to go just slightly closed. Now, what does it come with? This one in the 11 can come with the Denali 60 in the S-Flex. The 13 will traditionally come with the 50 gram in the R-Flex. With the thought process, the people that need a little bit more height are the ones that are swinging a little bit more slow in order to get it out into the atmosphere, okay? So how did this all shape out, right? They give you specs, man, and if they give you specs, that means I am looking at them. So it says 58, 11, D2, 43 and a half. Well, I got exactly 43 and a half, which is kind of unique for Callaway. Normally they rough cut them to 43 and a half. You put on your grip and it normally comes out to about 43 3/4. This one is on the nose. All right, I measured it. It is 58 degrees of lie angle, and I got it right around 12 degrees of loft. So 1 degree could be an eyeball thing. So it marries up in that. Oh, and also in the stiff, it was D3. The regular is D2. This came out at D3. So well done. 2 thumbs up from the spec point of view from Met Golf. Okay, so it does look good at address, and it just, with the lower length, it has that symmetry that a lot of people are looking at, where they, oh, these drivers are so big nowadays. And you know, this is a 340cc club versus a 460cc club. And so how does that look together? Well, hopefully you're seeing that right now. There is a magnitude difference between the driver and the mini driver, as it's supposed to be. And you know, neither one of them look bad, as a matter of fact. Neither one of them look bad. It's just that one shorter could be looking smaller. So what is it? Is it replacing a 3-wood or is it replacing a driver? Therein lies your ticket. I've hit several off the deck and it's okay. I'm not a fairway guy, which is kind of funny. Off the tee, this thing is absolutely, well, I'll let you see here in a little bit. The last bit we want to talk about is we have the thermal forged crown. And they also have put in some work on the face, as that's their big deal, right? This one has the new AI X10 face. What does that mean? And what that means is all up and down the face, they have adjusted the face, maybe we'll say in thickness or curve or whatever, in order to give more forgiveness on off-center shots. And that's not a bad thing, right? It is absolutely not a bad thing. So we've talked about the tech, we've talked about its looks, we've seen some pictures and why you would want it. Now let's see how it tested. Okay, here we are checking out the mini driver, and we're going to do just a very, very, very fast comparison to the driver, and you'll see why as soon as we get to it. But I hit about 15, 16 shots. I took out some of the really bad ones, and we're going to see 12 shots that look like that. If we wanted to see it from a perspective like that, that's how it gets down there. And then if we want to see where they landed, we're going to see it here in a second. Not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this out. I'm going to clean out this area right here. So give me a second. So here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots. So if we wanted to be, that's 7 shots close enough, right? And we're going to be there. If I wanted to keep playing around with it while we're talking, I could. But what we're seeing here is for a mini driver, you see the middle of the fairway. So I'm either into the middle of the fairway or just a hair to the left or to my inside, which is a wonderful thing. If we get into here and we look at about how I was hitting it, and we see all the shots, I am absolutely killing the middle of the club face with this particular one. And as far as the shaft profile goes, I am absolutely getting through it just the way that we want. And then if we wanted to take a quick view of how I'm hitting it, got a pretty decent club head path going, a little bit to the inside, and that's the reason why you would see that as a hole, and an upward angle of attack, which is usually not me. Okay, so now we have that. We can get through that, and we can see how it goes from a perspective. Nice flight, comes down the way we want it, and it rolls out. So if we were to look at this from a data point of view, and we were to take out the Elite, so it looks like a 230 to basically 240 club. 230 for 240, that's not bad considering an average of 97 mile an hour, and hitting it with a 143 smash factor. Hit it pretty good. That's the middle of the golf club. And a spin rate of only 2,400. If we go up here and we look 26, 3,000 being the high, 26 being the low. So not too bad, right? That's actually pretty good. So now we put my Elite in there, and the Elite with the Shogun shaft in it, I have this phobia about this golf club right now, and I literally just cannot get it going. I barely get it into the 220 range. Barely. In fact, I don't. I get 219 and 217. Oh, there's one. So yeah, just short of 220 all day, which is literally 20 yards short of the other club. All right, but since this is more about the mini driver, let's talk about this guy. And when we get it going, we get to see all these different perspectives of how we hit it. I think it was very consistent, very down the middle, and we were getting, if we were looking at all shots, hey, that's pretty doggone high for a driver, right? So all in all, the mini driver is a big winner, but let's go talk about it some more. Okay, so 240, that's not the average, but like most golfers, I'm going to take the best shot and say, hey, this is what I hit. So 240 off the tee for a guy swinging 98 mile an hour, not bad, right? Not bad at all. And not hitting it pure. 240 or 141, 142 is not a bad strike. It's not a great strike. I'd like to see 145 or better. If I saw 145 or better, then it would probably be a 250 club. And so outside testing remains to be seen. As you saw on there, I was catching the middle of the club face, so you can have very much a large amount of confidence. When you're hitting it, you can just get going and you can swing. Now, the comparison between that and my driver is just unfair, right? It's completely unfair in the fact that I'm not swinging the driver very well, so it would be like, comparing a Corvette and a Chevette, right? And no, you just don't do that. But I wanted to give you the idea is that, if you're struggling off the tee, maybe something a little bit smaller, a little more compact, and a little bit closer might help you out, much like it's helping me out, okay? But I totally plan on maybe, getting my driver swing back. I'm not, and the thing of doing this is being able to just look down and make a good swing. That's really all it is, right? But I'm just so impressed by this mini driver. It's something that if it keeps going what it's doing, it is not leaving my bag. Okay, it's just not leaving my bag. So you got a compact head with all the tech of a driver, with a little bit more loft, with a length that is probably right for a lot of people, right? A lot of people. And if you're a junior, this is something else. If you're a junior and you get that lighter, more flexible club, this could be a standard driver for you, right? Instead of those big bulbular type looking things. And it would look normal, so as you get bigger and you go to a regular driver, it's a natural transition, right? It could do that. So you're not losing anything in tech, you're not losing anything in the cosmetics, you're not losing anything in the shaft because it's virtually the same thing, and it's getting you out there. I don't understand why you wouldn't like it. At least from my perspective. Again, in every instance, I would say go hit it, go get fit, and make sure you're getting the right thing put under you. And because this thing runs about $150 less than the driver, which is grand, and only about $100, and it's $100 more than the fairway wood. So again, from a price perspective, it might be very well the thing that you want to use as well. So again, hopefully you like this. Like and subscribe. Join us on our live stream on Mondays at 17:30. And as always, let's see your scores go low.